Hello, 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 everyone. And you have reached the Inflamed Sisters Thriving podcast. Welcome to the Inflamed Sisters Thriving podcast, a safe space created to guide women living with chronic illness to uncover their purpose by doing what they were meant to do despite chronic illness, move in power by learning to advocate for themselves in all aspects of life, and accelerate their growth in health, career, and business. You will learn how to stop hiding and start thriving. We will inspire, educate, and motivate you as we show you Inflamed Sisters thrive together always. Hello, everyone. As you know, this is Katina Morrison, the host of the Inflamed Sisters Thriving podcast, and welcome to this episode. Today, I have my amazing guest, Dawn Hills. Welcome, sis. It's so good to see you. And
So good to see you too.
thank you. And will you introduce yourself, please, to our podcast guest?
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. My name is Dawn Hills. I live in England, so you've got a Brit on the podcast. And by day, I'm a lawyer, but I've always had a creative side to me. So I create content on money, property, and more recently, women's health. I love talking about these things because I really want to encourage women to reach their potential and do their very best.
Awesome. And you are doing an amazing job on that and on your platforms. And that's why I said I had to have the amazing Dawn Hills here for this discussion. You know, one of the things that I admire about you is that you recently started discussing health. And as a chronic illness warrior yourself, you have so much that you are sharing now about not only your personal health experience, but how other women can use can start to use their voices to advocate for themselves. So tell us about your health experience lately, most recently, that has helped you to learn the value of self-advocacy and how you're using your platform to do that.
Yes, I'll do that. So my chronic illness is or was fibroids. So I say is or was because I know there are some tiny ones still left in there, but the major fibroids have been taken out of myself. So I've been suffering knowingly, and I always say knowingly because I start from the point of when I first actually felt pain. So I'd been suffering with fibroids knowingly for 6 years. And for 6 years, I felt very dismissed by the doctors here in the UK. And it was only because I sought private medical attention that I felt that I was really being listened to. And I was at that point of just, I need to do something. I can't live with this anymore. And my voice, I spoke up more, sought this attention. And in January of this year, I had an open myomectomy, which removed 16 fibroids. The largest one was the size of a grapefruit. And I have been in recovery ever since. I think this is my fifth month I've just reached in recovery. Recovery has been a battle as well, but I feel a lot better. My reasons for sharing my story was because when I was going through everything, I looked to YouTube, and YouTube was full of Black American ladies sharing their stories, and I found it invaluable with how to proceed forward, how to recover, what to look out for. And because of this, I thought I need to speak up on this. And also there isn't really much of a UK voice, a UK Black female voice speaking about that. So that's why I've kind of opened up into my personal life, something that I don't tend to do, because if I can just help one person, that's my job done. I don't want people suffering as long as I did with any kind of chronic condition. And so to just guide people on what to do, I think it's invaluable. It's for free. We can do that. All of us can.
Exactly. There's so much that we can do to help others. And like you said, it's for free. And you are doing an amazing job because I know having a niece and multiple relatives that live in the UK, sharing your experiences in this way is quite different from the way we do things here over in the USA. We say across the pond. Across the pond, we're a little more expressive and emotional. They say. I'm just going to
Yeah.
be honest. But you're telling things that have not been told before in this way in the UK. How was it taking that on? Being, actually using your voice. Did you get support in the UK as well, or has it just been like a US based support?
Yeah, so typically Brits are known as being very reserved. That's just our nature. We don't tend to talk about things, we just get on. Keep calm and carry on is a massive saying that we have over here. So when I went through the open myomectomy and I was in recovery, my parents, my partner, my very close friends, they said you have to share this story, because I was thinking about, do I really delve into my private life? Like I said, it's something that I don't do. And they said you have to, because if this can help just one woman, you've done your job. So they were absolutely supportive. And because I've talked about my fertility journey as well, I spoke to my partner about this, because even though this is my life, it's his life as well. So it's kind of putting him to the forefront. Some people know who he's on social media as well. So people know. So to be able to be supported by my partner, and there's absolutely no limits. He's just said, go for it. Talk as much as you like, has been amazing. It's been amazing to have that support. And yeah, you asked me whether I've had support from the Brits as well as the Americans. The Brits have loved it, because they've all said, we do not talk about this. I didn't know about this. Oh my goodness, I've had this issue. I need to go to the doctors. So again, they've been absolutely encouraging, and they have welcomed this information.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so proud of you. And I understand too, being someone who has been married now for 16 years, having that support from your partner, having that support from your family and friends is so important when you're coping with chronic illnesses, especially ones that people can't see. Because if someone looked at you, they would not have known that you had a fibroid that was causing you severe pain and discomfort and other things. They wouldn't have known it, because you are an extraordinarily beautiful woman. Let me just tell you that. I know you've heard that before, but girl, Inflamed Sisters is telling you right now, this is a gorgeous woman. So looking at her, you won't know that she was carrying that she had a chronic illness. And to see how you are using what you went through to be able to touch the lives of others, inspire them, educate them, put it out to the forefront. So women, we don't have to be ashamed that we are going through women health issues or illnesses. We don't have to be afraid of the fact that, yes, people know that fibroids can lead to infertility concerns. I'm a woman who had more than 20 fibroids before having my hysterectomy for endometriosis a couple of years ago. And I had infertility struggles as well. We need to use our voices to create a situation where people are no longer afraid to talk about those things, because there's so many who need the support. So sis, I commend you on that. Great job. So we talked about how you used your voice in your country by in the UK by going from public health to getting private health care. I know that there's a big difference over in the UK between the private and the public health sectors.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to talk a bit about that, those differences?
Okay. So in the UK, if you are a person who works, you pay into something called the National Health Service, which is the NHS. So in our pay packets, with the tax, which is deducted, we have national insurance that is deducted. And those national insurance payments go to partly to the NHS service to keep it afloat. So anyone who is ill, you will be directed to your local GP surgery where you're registered, and you can go in there 10,000 times, one time throughout the year. There's no limit basically to see your doctor. So everyone's paying into a pot that gets taken out automatically upon your pay each month. Private medical healthcare works the same way as it does in the US. Now, I have a lot of family in the US, so I know how it kind of works for them. So you can take out private medical by yourself. So you'd pay for a plan, whatever it is, or some companies offer it as a benefit, as minded. So you will pay a little bit into a pot, but it will be a very minimum amount of payment. And I'm talking minimum, few pounds a month. And then they will top it up with the rest. So again, you can have your consultations through the private medical healthcare system that we have over here. Now, people often think that there's two very different ways in which they deal with yourself, but the standard level of care is the exact same. The only difference with private medical is that you will get seen quicker by consultants or admitted to hospital quicker. So in my case, I went to see the consultant in November, and he said, had I gone through the NHS route, which is the free route, I'd have had to wait at least 9 months to be seen for my surgery. But with him, I went in November and my surgery was scheduled in for January. So that's how quick. And if he had something before then, he said he would have let me come in December. I think there was something for December. I said, let me have my Christmas. Let me just have my Christmas. So that's the difference. It's speed. There may be some drugs that you'll be able to take quicker with the private medical. So you have access to sort of, I don't know, like specialist drugs. But again, the level of care is the same. So that's something that's very, very important. So that's the main difference. It's just basically the access and the accessibility. So how quickly are you going to be seen? The NHS has got a lot of pressures on. We've had COVID, nurses were sick, doctors were sick. It was awful. So what they've seen in the last 2 years is that a lot of people are taking private medical insurance out so they can be seen quicker. Mm-hmm. So it's just the speed over here. So that's the difference. So it's almost like having a free service versus a paid service.
Yeah, and that it's important that people recognize those differences, even because, of course, there's always the fight and the battle for universal health care in countries that don't have it. But there's positive sides, and then there's also the downside to things. Yeah. But the positive, of course, is that it's free, but it just may mean that you may have to wait longer because it doesn't afford you the opportunities that a paid or private plan can provide you. But it is overall still great care either way. It just depends on what your personal health circumstances being. Are you going to wait 9 months for that surgery, or do you want that surgery in less than 30 days? I know for me, I had to, each time that I've had to have surgery, and I've had at least 3 surgeries or so now, I had the surgery the next week.
Wow.
I went into the doctor, they did the testing. Okay, let's set you up for the surgery. I waited no more than 1 week. I think one surgery was 2 weeks later. So that's the difference, in universal and private is you may have the, over here, the opportunity to get it within a week or 2. One of my surgeries was literally the next day. So actually I've had 4 surgeries. So literally the next day. So I lose count sometimes when you're living with multiple chronic illnesses and having so much going on. You sometimes lose, well, did that happen? But also brain fog kind of sets in sometimes too. So, but yeah, so I'm happy. Thank you so much for explaining that. I think it's so important for us to be aware of what's going on, not just in our country, but in other countries. And that way, hearing from someone who lives there, what really happens, and then hearing it's good either way, that you said that, is important too, because it's not all about positive and negatives per se. It's important for us all to have a good view of things and not to push one thing over the other. It really depends on a person's circumstances. So you have told us about your personal journey. You have educated us about the UK healthcare system. But sis, you have also told us about the importance of advocacy. Now, in that journey, did you have any issues where you felt that you weren't being listened to appropriately?
Yes. So to take it a step back, actually, with regards to what we've just been speaking about, NHS versus the private medical. So with doctor's appointments with the NHS, you are only given 10 minutes to see your doctor. So imagine if you've got a whole heap of things wrong with you because you've been waiting a while. So for instance, I needed to see my doctor the other day. I had to wait a month to see the doctor. Now, if I had lots of ailments, I'm thinking, I've got 10 minutes. I need to tell him about this, 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 and this. They've only got a 10-minute window. Whereas if you go private, you've got a much longer slot to just discuss everything. When I went in for my fibroids, my guy was drawing diagrams. He had time for me that day. So that's the difference, right? That really is the difference. So when I went in to see my doctor, and I was trying to describe my fibroids in the first instance. Remember, he's probably thinking, I've only got 10 minutes with this woman, like, hurry it up. And he said to me, there's nothing wrong. And I'm thinking, but there is. So he dismissed me in the first instances. It was because I went to see a female doctor for a second opinion, who I feel obviously as a female can probably relate to me more with the ailments. Maybe she's seen more patients with such. That she was the one that instigated the whole thing. She thought, right, I'm going to send her to the hospital and we're going to do an ultrasound in the first instance. So there was definitely times in that short 10-minute window that I had with my registered GP that I just felt completely dismissed and not listened to. So yeah, most definitely.
Wow. Well, I commend you. I'm glad we went back a step, because that's the other thing, is that 10 minutes, how much can a person really do in 10 minutes to really listen to what your issues or concerns are, and then provide you a good assessment, and then provide you the options as far as diagnostic testing, labs, and then potential for even additional services like a surgery if it's necessary. Because that means you didn't get your ultrasound done at that time.
So everything in the UK, when it goes through the NHS, everything is referred. So if you're referred to a hospital, that's another wait. You get your appointment, that's another wait. It's a waiting system with that. Now, I will say prior to the COVID situation, it was better. So I could potentially phone up on the Thursday and get an appointment the next day. But because they're so strange with everything over the past 2 years, and it's running into this one, it's just a no-go. Like I said, it's literally a month you would have to wait to get appointments, unless you're trying to call up 8 o'clock in the morning to get a cancellation from somebody else, which, I mean, everybody and their dog's trying to do. So yeah, with every step with the NHS, okay, Dawn, you need to go to hospital. He will send that form to the hospital. The hospital takes time to write back to you. Oh, we've got an appointment. That's in, I don't know, July, August. You go, and then the next step will be another waiting period. So that's the frustration people have over here.
I understand. I know, especially having relatives, that's been a concern of my niece as well, and others that I know. Wow. That's deep. That explanation of things, I'm telling you, you're opening my eyes up to things that I wasn't fully aware of. Because for us, I'm like, okay, I go into the doctor's office and I'm complaining of this. She'll do the transvaginal ultrasound right then. In that same appointment. I don't have to wait and go, because they usually have the equipment in the office, or I can go the next day to another diagnostic facility to have it done. But I appreciate the fact that you are also showing how important it is to advocate for yourself and to know when it's time for you to go public or private if you have the option, in order to get the immediate care that you deserve. Yeah. So you've went through multiple procedures at this point.
And multiple appointments with the doctors, trying to get to the crux of it, what's going on.
Got it. And so now that that has all been done, one of the things is you've done that I've appreciated is you shared your journey on Instagram, and you shared it in a way that was very transparent. Like, I was sitting here, I was like, did I hear a British accent? Because this is not this is not normal. But I loved it. I loved the fact that you were transparent, that you were showing the good and the bad of it, and that in the end you showed the light, because since you came out of that and you recovered fast, okay?
I'm like a new woman. Love it.
Tell us about your new experience now that the fibroids are gone,
Oh
girl.
my goodness. Because if I go through what and let me start, right. So my fibroids over the years, just the symptoms of pain, it got worse. So I had heavy clotty periods, extreme period pain. I had pain in my butt cheek. I had pain down my leg. I had because one of the fibroids was actually pressing on my bladder. I was going to the toilet all the time, right? I had back pain. I felt tired. This was all the time. At its worst, so that would have been October, November, around that time last year, I was getting symptoms of early pregnancy. So I felt ill, boobs were hurting, all sorts of things were going on. So to experience that, and then to have the fibroids removed, and then after recovery to have none of these symptoms is mind blowing. It has literally changed my life. My cycles used to be so, in terms of my period, I would start to spot well before it was fully blown. I'd have a period for about 7, 8 days, still be spotting, and then it would go. I've had I had sort of 2, 3 cycles where after the myomectomy, where it was a bit like, oh, okay, and the consultant said, look, your body's regulating out, that's normal. After that, oh my, it's barely been there. And you're like, my goodness, this is how my body should have been all this time. I've had no back pain. I've had no pain. It's incredible how one surgery has changed my entire life. And I feel free. Like I feel like something has just been taken out. This what has obviously, but I don't feel kind of captured by it anymore. That's how I can describe it. I
The
feel
dread.
free.
Hmm. It's the dread of the next cycle that used to have me. And this is see, the both of us have chosen a route that not all are willing to take. But it's important to see both sides of things. Of
Yeah.
course, we can do things as naturally as we want to, but sometimes you don't see the results
Mhm.
that you see when someone has a surgery. And let's put it accurately too. Surgery doesn't mean that everything is fully resolved.
Yeah.
But in our cases, and in my case, after my hysterectomy, it was like, Lord, this is how everybody feels. This is the energy. I had severe anemia, severe heavy menstrual cycles, cramping, pain, like you said. And then when you mentioned the back and the butt pain, sis, when you said it, I was like, so I'm not the only one that was having pain. Just
It was so bizarre. You'd be sat there like,
what is going on? So it's not just pain in your stomach. You literally, this affects all of it, and then the hormones.
yes,
That the I thank my husband of 16 years for being the man that chose me, because I don't think many could have dealt with the
no, it's
hormonal
true.
flares that I had, and it was
It's so true.
all because of things that were out of my control. So that's the other point of the support, like you said, that
Yes,
he
100%.
understood. So, sis, there's something else we got to talk about though, because in this part I'm really excited about because we live with chronic illnesses. We have fought through finding our voice in our chronic illness. But let's talk about, despite having chronic illnesses, us inflamed sisters can thrive in our businesses and careers too, because we're both career and business women as well. So tell me, sis, what is it that you want women who especially women in general, but let's also keep our inflamed sisters thriving in there too. What do you want them to know about the importance of how you can still thrive in business and why it's important for us to do this?
I'm just all about, it's very simple, just getting your goals, just getting out there, knowing what it is that you want and knowing that you can achieve it, but you have almost like a support system around you. So something that has frustrated me throughout my life is the the lack of information. Some people want to hold back information, and I feel as though if there's a route that you can take that will get you to your goal quicker than I did, I'm happy to share that with you, right? because it's not going to dampen my flame or my candle if you're there and you're successful. We're in different lanes. And I know I'm good at what I do. You're good at what you do. Off you go. So I'm really here to empower women with regards to getting their finances up, making more money, being a boss in their career, because not everybody wants their own business. And I can appreciate that. So in your career, how can you climb that ladder, right? Property, having assets, especially as Black women, especially as Black people, is so important. So how can I get on that property ladder as a first-time buyer? Because like I said, especially in the UK, we've got this expression where it's about kicking the ladder down. So a person will climb the ladder, they'll get to the top and they'll think, oh, I'm the only person. This can be in the communities, but I'll climb to the top and then kick it down because I don't want anyone else to succeed. But what's been brilliant about this up and coming generation, they're really about sort of empowering and encouraging people to look, I did it this way. This is the information that I got. Here you go. And that's what I'm loving about this new generation. So I'm here to just help where I can, where I've succeeded with things that I've tried and tested. It's worked for me. It may not work for you, but let me just show you the way, and you can try. So I'm all about encouraging our women to just do their very best.
Exactly. And this is the thing, is that what you're seeing is a woman who she hasn't told y'all what she is yet. So I don't know if she's did you tell the audience what you are?
Yeah, I did. I said at the beginning, yeah, I'm a lawyer by day. So I'm a commercial lawyer in-house. And I could go on forever talking about my trials and tribulations in my career. And I've made countless videos with regards to it on YouTube, because again, with what I face, I would never want people to go through, bullying at work and all sorts of things. So I'm here to say, okay, this happened to me. This is how I tackled it. Be aware. It's not just about getting your job and being in your career. No one talks about what actually happens in these workplaces. So I saw the lack of information. We talk about how to get into careers, but when we're in the office, what goes on? What do we need to be aware of? How do we navigate these spaces? And that's what I talked about. So it's the same when it comes to finances. It's the same when it comes to property and other assets. It's just, how do we navigate this? What's the real deal? So where we can share information, I think it's so important.
Exactly. And the advocacy point of that is that you're not only advocating for yourself, but you're helping others to do the same by sharing your knowledge. I know for me, even though I have been in the healthcare industry now for over 23 years, it took me a very long time to find my voice, to learn how to advocate for myself, to negotiate. This is something no one ever told me about. I was sitting around here waiting for people to see my value. And the truth is, no one will ever see your value until you use your voice to speak up for it. And there may be some that might. Let me take that back, because there may be others who experience others seeing their value and paying them their worth. The problem is that doesn't usually happen within our communities. It just does not happen as often that as a person of color, as a Black woman, that you experience that someone sees your worth. Because I was literally in a job finding out that, listen, sis, you were making entry level with over 20 years of experience. What? Entry level in writing.
Listen, I know about that life. And that's why, like you said, it is so important to self-advocate for yourself. One of the things I said this year is that if you don't ask, you don't get. And that's how I've been moving. That's been one of my top kind of goals. I'm like that anyways, but when you put that to the forefront, and it's just like, if you don't ask, you don't get. Just use your voice. The worst that anyone can ever say to you is no, literally.
And I found that out to be the case, because after I learned how to use my voice, I was able to get a pay that I thought was impossible. And then on top of that, had multiple streams of income, such as property, such as my business as a chronic illness coach. So that it's possible to do it, and it's possible to do it with multiple chronic illnesses. If there's anything that we can model for you is, ladies, don't allow your health condition and the struggles that you may be facing with it limit you, because anything is possible.
Mhm.
It's about learning to advocate for yourself and learning to take the steps to take care of yourself well, so that you can go out and get what you deserve in your career and business. And of course, in your health. So, if there's anything you've learned from us, learn that you can thrive in all aspects of life. And Dawn, I'm telling you, sis, I enjoy talking to you.
Listen, I always, honestly, I can't
It's,
stop smiling. I
I
love
know. This,
I can
y'all
talk
see
to you
the
all day.
smile?
I can literally talk to you all day
I
about
know. We've
everything.
got to do that. And I cannot wait until I come to
You
England
have
to
to
see
come
you.
over. If I'm
I'm
not over in
coming.
Florida before, it's going to be one of us.
Girl, we will see each other. And I'm sitting here clapping in front of this microphone. I gotta stop. Y'all, I apologize to anyone's ears who heard that clapping like that. But no, the point is, there are certain people that you are around that inspire and motivate you and encourage you, but also just your spirit, your glow, your vibrancy, it, and your authenticity, your transparency. It just fills my heart. And when it's like I'm really talking to someone I have known my whole life, and
Amen.
she and I only met maybe a month ago.
Yes,
so,
yes.
so this is the type of relationships we can develop when we start to live as our authentic selves, and when we free ourselves of the perspectives of worrying so much about the perspectives of others, and start to really live our lives to thrive. So, Don, I want to thank you for coming over to the Inflamed Sisters Thriving podcast. I know we'll be talking again soon,
Girl,
but
you have everything. You just need to let me know and I'm on.
yes. What I would like to do is for you to share with the audience how we can find you, what you have coming up that you would like to share before we conclude, sis.
Thank you. So I'm predominantly on Instagram. I think if you really want to interact with me, my DMs are open, all of that good stuff. My Instagram handle is at Dawn_heals. So that's HEELS. I'm also on YouTube, Dawn Heals. And what have I got coming up? I've got a lot of UK based stuff coming up. I'm throwing together a few events, but hopefully in America, Katina, you and I link up. We definitely have to do something in the US. And when you come over here too, 100%.
Definitely. When I come over there, ladies and gentlemen, please be ready, because we are going to light up UK and she's going to light up Florida. Okay. So I want to thank you again for being a guest on the Inflamed Sisters Thriving podcast. I look forward to doing more things with you and collaborating with you in different aspects of life, my friend and sister. Thank you all for joining us today. And we will definitely be coming back again soon to educate, inspire, and motivate you. As you know, sisters, we may be inflamed, but we're still here. And as long as we're here, we're going to fly. We're going to thrive, not just fly, but thrive together. Okay. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Our sponsors for this episode are AI3 One Spray Away. AI3 One Spray Away provides joint and muscle relief. The AI3 proprietary blend of DMSO and essential oils with anti-inflammatory benefits will support joint and muscle health, provide pain support, and improve healing and recovery times to get you back to doing things you love again sooner. Two Better Days. Two Better Days has a range of fast-acting active patches that are completely drug-free, easy to apply, and backed by science, shown to boost the health of your nerves, joints, and muscles in a completely safe way. Each patch contains a combination of vitamin D and nutrients that can provide you the relief you need when you need it most. Mind Flight Journal. Created by a mother and daughter team who experience chronic illnesses, this vegan leather spiral bound journal has daily entries to track your symptoms and medications, as well as daily inspirational quotes, challenges, and creative writing prompts that encourage thoughtful introspection and growth mindset. See the show notes in order to receive details on special offers available to you from my sponsors. It was so wonderful to have all of you here today, and I can't wait to have you back again. I want you to remember that, my sisters, we may be inflamed, but we're still here. And as long as we are here, let's thrive together always. Have a wonderful day.